Okay guys, let's talk about combat shotguns for a little bit here. I've got out two of my shotguns here to do some comparisons, just to tell you a little bit about each gun, so you can make up your mind to know what is right for you. Because I get a lot of questions from new guys and people that's just getting into guns, or they want to get a shotgun for home defense and they're not sure what they want to get. They see things like this Saiga 12 and they really like it because it's just a cool looking gun. And there's a lot of other guys that get these style, the Remington 870s, Mossberg 590s, and things such as that. So I'm going to go over some comparisons here with these two shotguns, and I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of each of these guns, just right down the line, and it'll help you to better decide what you might want to get. Okay, first of all, one of the big factors, let's go over weight. Okay, this Saiga, now the way this is set up is heavy, so with this Chaos quad rail. So you might be able to get a Saiga and save weight and not have this rail on there. So keep in mind that the numbers and things I'm giving you are only concerning this particular Saiga 12. Okay, now if you use the 20 round drum, okay, fill that with ammo and put that into the Saiga 12, you are talking about 12 pounds fully loaded. Okay, now the Remington with 6+1, and I don't want to jump ahead, I'll get into capacity later, but the Remington with 6+1, even with the side saddle filled with shells, is coming in at right around 8 pounds. Okay, so there's a 4-pound difference right there between the Saiga 12 and the Remington. This shotgun, guys, is a very excellent close quarter combat weapon. If you were in close quarters or in your house or in a room somewhere and there's a pistol and a rifle and one of these laying out on the table, I'm going to tell you what, one of these guys would be what I would grab. And there's several reasons for that. One of the main reasons is the variety of loads. Just the force, the power, the stopping power of 12 gauge rounds, okay, coming out of this barrel. It just, in close quarter combat, it's hard to beat a shotgun. You can use anything from slugs to double-aught buck, number 4 buck, even birdshot will tear stuff up, guys. It really will. So just the awesome force, and you talk about 2 3/4 inch shells of double-aught buckshot coming out with 9 pellets, 9 lead pellets that are almost a 38 caliber size, and all that hitting in the same target at one time. That's a lot of devastation and force coming from one weapon. Okay, so that's a couple of the reasons why most guys have a shotgun in the home, is for self-defense, because in close quarter combat it just really can't be beat. I mean, it's hard to beat it, guys. Okay, next let's go on to length. Now with the stocks fully collapsed, the Saiga is still a little bit longer than the Remington, just by a hair. And the only reason that is because the buttstock, the pad on it, is a little bit wider than the one on the Remington. If it wasn't for that, these would be pretty much equal in length. Now, let's talk about ease of use. How easy are these guns to wield, comparing them next to each other and in a self-defense situation? Okay, well, right off the bat, the Remington 870 is going to be a little bit easier to wield, and I'll tell you why. Number one is that it weighs less. With that does come a little bit less capacity. We'll get into that later. But it weighs a little less, and not only that, but the most important point is the magazine tube is underneath. This gun is very streamlined, very easy to maneuver, to point. It's very pointable, very easy to get on target, and it's just easy to sling around, so to speak. So as far as which one is easiest to wield, The Remington is a little more streamlined. You know, anytime you're dealing with a Saiga 12, either you're going to have the drum, which is very big and round, or you're going to have the stick mag like this. So you're going to have something hanging off the bottom of the gun. So just depending on how you maneuver around and things, you know, would determine which one you want to use. You know, are you going to be going prone to the ground? Because it's going to be a little hard with this guy, especially if you want to shoot from that position. So you got to keep that in mind. Let's see what else. Sights. As far as sights, the Saiga 12 definitely takes the cake. You can put anything from iron sights on here all the way to aim points. This Bushnell TRS-25. I'm trying to think of the other name and I can't think of it. Why does it escape me right now? It always happens when the camera's on. But yeah, the aim point, the EOTech, even a scope with crosshairs, which I would never do that on a shotgun, so that's just silly. But you can put any kind of sight that will mount on a Picatinny rail on here. With the Remington 870 here, I've just got the traditional bead sight up front. This thing's always been very accurate for me, guys. I have a lot of rounds downrange with this gun. And this thing always seems to hit where I'm pointing it at for me. Now you could install ghost ring sights. You could install a Picatinny rail and, you know, different things like that. But the way that these two are set up as they sit on this table, because this isn't even drilled and tapped on the receiver, okay? So I can't put anything on there right now, even if I wanted to. So the way these guns sit on the table right now, I'm going to have to give it to the Saiga 12 for the availability of sights. Okay, let's talk ease of use. Now, when I speak of ease of use, what I mean is, let's say I'm in a room with someone else, whether it's a female or a guy who really never handled shotguns that much, or it could be anything. Someone that just turned 21 and they've never handled shotguns before. Ease of use is, without them shooting, which one would be easiest for me in that situation to get them to know how to run the gun if I had to in a pinch and an emergency without being able to let them shoot one round off. Okay, and for that I'm going to have to give it to the Saiga 12 again. And the reason is, this is just like an AK-47. This is basically an AK-47 that shoots shotgun shells. All I would have to tell that person after I put the magazine in is I'd have to tell them to rack the charging handle, aim the gun, and just pull the trigger. Every time you pull the trigger, it's going to automatically put another round in the chamber for you. Not too much simpler than that. All I have to do is make sure that he can rack this charging handle. The Remington 870, it's not that complicated either, but it is a little more complicated than that. You do have the safety, which is mounted here by the trigger guard. I do like the Mossberg safety better that's up here, especially me shooting left. It would be much better for me. You want to actuate this pump nice and stiff, okay? You don't want to ride this thing back and then try to ride it forward. That can cause things to kind of not really jam the gun up, but to kind of stick, okay? You want to pump this thing with force, you know. You want to give it some power when you're pumping this. Then of course you have the release right here to chamber your first round, to push in the release right here so that you can actuate the pump. So while it's not hard to teach somebody how to use this, if they never had fired a round before, I would still be more confident with them having the Saiga 12. Okay. Let's see here. As far as fun to shoot, well, that's a no-brainer right there. The Saiga 12 all day. You can go out and just feels like you're blowing stuff up with this gun. As fast as you can pull the trigger, it's as fast as the rounds come out of here. Okay, now I've had a lot of fun with the Remington 870 as well, but you do have to pump it every time you shoot it. And of course, with different variety of loads that you can use for different things that you want to shoot out on the range. I've got some videos up shooting 24 packs of pop and gallons of fruit juice and things, but I'm going to have to give it to the Saiga 12 all day as far as what's most fun to go out and shoot. I believe that if I take 10 people off the street and I explain these guns to them and I tell them I'm going to take them out and let them shoot one, I would pretty much guarantee you that all 10 people, if they wanted to have fun, they'd say they wanted to shoot this Saiga 12 over the Remington 870. That's just the way it is. So, reliability. Now, while both these guns have been 100% reliable, I'm going to have to give that to the Remington 870. And the only reason is because you are the one that's actuating the pump. A manual pump that's powered by you. Okay, if this thing doesn't pump and you don't get one in the chamber, there's something that you did wrong, not the gun. As with anything mechanical, when you have a semi-auto like this Saiga 12, if something can go wrong and does go wrong, you could be fiddling with this thing for a while. Because anything that's mechanical like this in semi-auto, while it could be reliable for all the times I've shot it and the guy that had it before me, that doesn't mean that if something went down that it's a 100% chance that I won't have a failure to feed or extract. And once I do that, then I've really got to hit the deck and try to get this gun cleared and back on, in the fight and stuff. So the Remington 870 is one that that as long as you have both of your arms, or at least one arm, because you could even run this gun with one arm, just by sitting the butt on the ground and pumping it, or putting the butt against the wall, pumping the stock, that as long as you can have freedom of your arm, that you're going to be able to get this thing to work. Okay, now we're on to capacity. And of course, the Saiga 12 has the capacity down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even the stick mag holds 10 rounds. I believe you can get some 12-rounders. And then, of course, like I showed you a little bit ago, the 20-round drums. And there's even a 30-round drum out there. But even before all this craziness happened in the government, the 30-round drums were very, very expensive. And I think they were made out of aluminum, too. But I can't remember the price. I'm thinking it was $350, $375, if I'm not mistaken, for a 30-rounder that would go in here. But as far as capacity, even with the smaller stick mags, you're going to have more than your 6+1, and that's of 2 3/4. If you use 3-inch shells in this Remington 870, then you're even going to have less capacity than that. Now, you can keep some shells on board like I do, but you're always going to have extra time spent in getting this in there. So you have 6+1, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have 12 on board, but it's going to be much faster and easier and better to shoot 10 through this without reloading it first. So that's kind of my take on it, guys. And I hope this helps some of you. Also look into the Mossberg 590s. Like I said, their deal of having the safety up here, even if you're a right-handed shooter, I like way better than the trigger guard safety. Number one, whenever you're getting ready to use this gun or you're wielding this gun in any kind of situation, all you got to do is just tilt your eye downward a little bit and you can see if the safety's on or not, on or off. With this one, you'd have to tip to the side, okay? So it's a little bit more convenient, a little bit more easier on those Mossberg 590s, and I would like to get a Mossberg 590 A1 at some point to add to the collection. And this Remington 870 Express Magnum has been great for me. It is really fun to shoot. As far as semi-auto pumps go, this is one of the funnest I've ever fired. It does have the recoil reducing stock, and there's 2 springs in here, and basically when you fire the gun, the springs take up some of the recoil, but whatever. That was on the gun when I bought it. So the deal was good, and I bought the gun and that was on there. I don't mind the recoil, guys, never have. In fact, I like shooting the bigger guns, as all of you probably know already. So if you're looking for home defense, guys, I'm telling you, just be careful on what load you use. And, you know, if you have different family members or children in the home, always make that your first priority. Evaluate that first, your home situation with children and other people living in the home. And then decide the shotgun and the load you want to use, because you do want to be careful, you know, at all costs. You don't want to harm the family if you ever have to defend the home. So I hope that makes sense, guys, and that's going to be it for today. This is Professor H14. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing around, guys. All right, I'll be back with you real soon with another video. This is H4T.